Hey, what up YouTube, and welcome back to a new video of Rams Fan YT. In today's video, we will be going through the best Premier League summer transfers, although admittedly it's been probably the quietest window that we have ever had. I mean, I don't think most of the big six has even made any signings. But let's dive straight into it. We're skipping Arsenal because Arsenal didn't sign anyone, and straight onto Aston Villa with Morgan Rogers. A lively attacking outlet, Rogers is comfortable playing centrally or on either flank. His 1v1 ability is his best attribute and is improving in his defensive side of the game more and more. Standing over 6 feet tall, Rogers brings a combative style, high energy, and exceptional finishing skills traits, which Aston Villa will eagerly await to harness. Whatever. Analysing Rogers' attributes, we can see his knack for being in the right places at the right time. A critical aspect for an attacking player of any sort, really. His ability to finish, the high pressing, and energy levels are particularly emphasised. Rogers in action has favoured positions, but also versatility and finishing ability. He can absolutely finish, and he gets in all the right areas, showcasing Rogers' adeptness in contributing to the team's attacking dynamics. Whether he'll be partnering Ollie Watkins or adding dynamism on the left flank, Rogers' speed and directness could offer Villa a new dimension in attack. The lack of direct pace on the left-hand side has been a gap in the team's strategy, one that Rogers could fill, thereby enhancing Villa's attacking options. Concluding, this paints a picture of a player with a high ceiling, capable of making a significant impact at Aston Villa. His 2 goals and 6 assists in the previous season hint at his potential to contribute both in terms of goals and creativity, although they could definitely improve in terms of the goal output. Bournemouth, Enes Unal. Ambition and hard work, the qualities contained in the 26-year-old Turkish striker, who has just experienced a brilliant time with Getafe. Last season, Enes showed excellent form, meeting all expectations and being the top scorer of Getafe and 7th in the Spanish First Division. The striker is a player that many coaches would like to have on their team, as he is a generous athlete always ready to help the team. His versatility in attack is a key factor, as he can play any offensive position with equal efficiency. By playing alongside another attacker, he is able to get along with him to create and exploit the spaces required, or exploit the spaces created, rather. While playing as the only attacker, he has the ability to hold and protect the ball by helping his teammates throw themselves into the attack. Enes Unal also has a great sense of counter-attack, capable of attacking the opponent's back, being an excellent alternative for those teams based on a direct and vertical style of play. This style of play of counter-attacking and sort of high press is really done at Bournemouth at the moment. I think you can see that. His style of play is based on positioning close to the rival area, where he becomes really dangerous, thanks to his mature offensive tactical sense. The surrounding analysis and his mobility, and he always reaches threatening positions in the rival area. When the ball arrives in those areas, Enes is a reliable player with excellent finishing both with the head and with both feet. For this reason, he is also considered an important offensive weapon in set pieces and strategic actions. Not only inside the box, but he has also shown great ability to score long distances whenever he has had enough space and confidence to do so. For the past few years, he has been paying attention and improving his defensive game. Playing for Getafe, he had to work on defensive issues, becoming an active player on pressing. When his team is well positioned, he is the first to press the defender in possession of the ball. He does this by trying to avoid the passing lines, forcing the opposing team to play directly, driving in the ball steals for his team, an aspect that all coaches would like, and his physical conditioning is another strength of his game. It allows him to take advantage in a 1v1 situation, whereas opulence and strength, it is really difficult to take the ball away from him. But last and not least, his psychological strength is another notable aspect. His attribute both on and off the pitch is admirable. Attached to the pace of work, modesty, and determination are the characteristics that are making him a firm at the highest levels. Brentford, Yunus Emre Konak. Yunus Emre Konak is a number 6, a hard-working, tenacious central midfielder who has a wide passing range and an impressive ability to read the game. At Sivasspor, he was central to the functioning of the team, playing a key role linking defence with attack and keeping possession. It is rare to see a player so mature at such a young age playing in his position. Yunus was a key player at Sivasspor, and it would be unfair to call him a talent. He is just much more than that. He is a player that has proved himself in the Turkish top tier and who happens to just be 18 years old. A defensive midfielder, Konak anticipates danger well and recycles possession smartly. Instead of snapping into tackles, the youngster looks to bring his teammates into play with short, sharp passes when the ball breaks. Konak has made 17 appearances in the Turkey's top flight this season, and it's clear that despite his tender age, he's trusted due to his calmness on the ball. The Turkey under-21 international isn't afraid of a full-blooded tackle either, and he uses his body to get across his man and block crosses or halt counter-attacks. He averages 2.1 interceptions and 1.8 tackles per 90. His tenacious nature, a byproduct of his youth, will please Thomas Frank, who demands a certain level of commitment from his players. Tactically and technically disciplined, there is a reason his development has been accelerated at international and domestic level. Brighton and Hove Albion, Valentin Barco. Technically gifted and versatile enough to play anywhere down the left flank or in central midfield, Barco has caught the eye as much for his fiercelessness as his powerful left foot. He's a real dynamo, a real driving force, willing to get onto the ball a lot for a teenager. Opposition players, more experienced players, were having to go at him, and he stood his ground, and he can dish it out as well. The mental side of the game is he's just not fazed by. He scored the winning penalty against Uruguay's Nacional to send Boca through to the last 16. So the mentality of the game, there is no issues there whatsoever. I think he's ready for the Premier League, actually. Barco initially started out as an attack-minded left-back, but has since moved up the pitch, playing as a left winger in the Libertadores final and at times in a creative box-to-box role in midfield. But Barco is adaptable enough to switch between positions out wide and in the middle, will be welcomed by Roberto De Zerbi, given his penchant for positional rotation. Brighton play in such a way that their players are frequently required to fill in for teammates when they have strayed elsewhere. Barco is another polyfiller type who pops up all over the place. Barco has been described as a real character and as a player with no fear who will try crazy stuff. Like, take the Libertadores final. He tried to score directly from a corner kick. It was his first final, and he tried something like that. Like, ridiculous. He tries things that you only find from people who have very strong confidence. So fans will probably be struck by that from the get-go. On Barco's attributes, he's very strong in dribbling, not because of his speed, but because of his technique. He has really good vision, long passing is top-notch, and he tends to turn inside the box, and that's how he provides most of his assists. He's more of a central attacker, I would say. Barco has been a mezzala, a position described as a wide central midfield player reserved for a creative mobile player who is given license to get forward and support attacks, but still has plenty of defensive responsibility as well. I think it was described actually back in the day as one of the most important roles on the pitch for mezzala. Burnley, David D'Anto Fofana. D'Anto Fofana has been the primary talisman in a 3-5-2 system last season. He's an extremely avid shooter who frequently pulls the trigger in the 18-yard box. He ranked first for shots 90 across the 2022 Elite Syrian season, with an average of 3.81. And this close proximity inclination facilitates a strong metrical performance when it comes to the percentage of his shots that are on target, not to discredit his innate shooting ability whatsoever. He ranks second in the latter statistic, with just over half of his shots hitting the target. These numbers indicate a high-volume shooter and an effective one at that. This description absolutely epitomizes Fofana. In terms of his technique, Fofana's inclination and preference to place the ball rather than pummel it past the keeper, and he predominantly opts, when plausible, for a side-footed finish on his stronger right foot, although from short range he is equally effective on his weaker left foot when placing the ball. This divergence towards precision is evident when he takes penalties. All the penalties he has scored have been placed all but perfectly into a right corner, with a stuttered run that inhibits the generation of power, and yet nevertheless he is yet to miss from the spot. However, his skill set is not merely limited to his preferred side-footed conversion. He shows capabilities to drive, chip, or poke the ball back across the goal when a softer placed finish is less feasible. Additionally, David is a competent and accurate header of the ball with an impressive inception of power from a relatively disadvantageous positions, mechanically speaking. He directs the ball emphatically and efficiently with his head. When it comes to aerial prowess, it's hard to contemplate that Fofana is only 5'11", and thus is often shorter than his opposite man. Yet in these headed duels, his athleticism is great enough to usurp and dominate those who have the innate advantages of him, an impressive and useful facet of his game. In terms of superficial numbers, Fofana has recorded an impressive goal-scoring tally both domestically and on the European stage last season. He netted 27 goals across 3,315 minutes that year, and in the Elite Serie, he was joint third in the Golden Boot race, and his numbers per 90 are similarly strong. It is difficult to truly summarise Fofana's on-ball ability. At points, he is an exciting ball carrier, portraying raw pace and physicality, and variations in stride length and ball control proximity, all of which in conjunction create a fearful, dominant player at elite Serien level. But these innate skills seem superficially translatable to the English football, who can easily bypass opponents. Similarly, Dartro Fofana can utilise spontaneity in decision making on the ball and immense control to create opportunities for himself, which would otherwise be unviable. He has shown a proficiency in bringing the ball down with control and maintaining possession, and also uses inertia, followed by immediate jolting movements, and often incorporating a feint or socio-effective ball manipulation to beat his defender. I can visualise a reality in which Fofana acts as an interconnector for his team. From my observations, looking at a few YouTube clips, he looks more comfortable in the left half space due to the angle it gives him on the half turn off of his right foot to then progress. He displayed strong anticipation to recognise his plausibility within a passing lane and occasionally utilised 360 degrees scanning to premeditate or plan his next move. Whilst not overly direct, Fofana usually opted for a progressive option that would facilitate future progression, passing into space or wide areas. Furthermore, as a young attacker is taught religiously, it seems now, he effectively moves into space or into position where he can pin the defensive line to aid the attacking structure. Last but by no means least, I believe that Fofana's defensive work rate deserves a mention. Personally, I feel that Fofana's defensive work rate and ability to pressurise opponents is undervalued and underrated. In terms of his offensive duels, Fofana ranks second in this metric league-wide. This is somewhat indicative of frequent dispossession, but more importantly in this case is Fofana's desire to actively seek the ball back after his teammates' dispossession, as evidenced by an average of 3.18 ball recoveries in the opposition half per 90. Technically, Fofana uses his surprisingly imposing figure to force either a retreat or dispossession of his opponent, with effective low body positioning when at arm's length to his opponent, which expedites his ability to first proactively dictate movement, and if requisite, it allows him an optimal biomechanical position from which to accelerate upon tracking back. In Fofana, they have a profile suitable to slide into and out of an out number 9 role, in which I can foresee him hitting the ground running, if used correctly, due to his innate physiological traits, combined with an exciting, prosperous, and dangerous skill set. Chelsea didn't sign anyone, so on to Crystal Palace of Adam Wharton. Adam Wharton is a box-to-box player who has the stamina and work rate to be equally as effective on both ends of the pitch. On the ball, he has fantastic technical ability and is more than capable of using both feet with no reduction in quality. His aggressive nature and strong desire to win the ball, and his lovely technical ability when breaking the lines with either his passing or strong ball carrying solo runs. He displays such confidence despite his age to take on any battling challenge and want to be the orchestrator for attacks whilst also defending well when needed. Orton tends to stay fairly central, defending the middle of the pitch and the half spaces, but does not tend to drift out wide and defend the flanks. As his heat map shows, Wharton has the role of a deep-lying playmaker as he starts from his own half and then likes to progress the ball, but does get up to join in with attacks he himself orchestrates. Wharton's main strengths would be vision, ball carrying, work rate, defensive aggression, and IQ. He likes to pick the ball up from the back line, and his excellent ball carrying and vision allows him to break the pressing lines with his drives forwards and his pinpoint passes. This helps to launch quick counterattacks and progress the ball up the pitch with speed and efficiency. His work rate is excellent. It shows, it really allows him really to contribute to attacks and defensive transitions with full effectiveness for the whole team to ensure there are no gaps in the midfield the opposition can exploit. His defensive aggression show how eager he is to win the ball back whenever Blackburn lost it, which was his old club, of course, and he chases down every loose ball and gets stuck into every challenge, always giving 100%. His IQ is the most impressive thing. This is something the young players struggle with more than the experienced ones, but Wharton's a wonderful footballer in IQ. He always seems to know the right pass to make, the right position to be in, and it is shaping him up to be a fantastic leader in the future. Adam Wharton has an extremely high ceiling. His game is very different to a traditional English midfielder, which sets him apart from the rest. Crystal Palace provide a good next step for him to get a very good amount of minutes at Premier League level and be an integral part of the team week in, week out. The England senior team call-up will not be too far behind now, now that he's really in the Premier League. That's what I see anyhow. Everton didn't sign anyone, so on to Fulham with Armando Broja. He played as a centre forward or as out wide as part of a front three, and Broja's flexibility to fulfil either role and to do so at a high level would make him a great prospect for the future. Broja is comfortable dropping deep and offering an option during build-up play. He makes late runs into the kinds of areas where he can receive line-breaking passes. At 6'1", he has a decent height, and he has a strong but lean build to go with this, which allows him to be an effective target man in these instances. Broja is comfortable playing off limited touches. However, in other moments, he gives the impression of not feeling rushed to pass the ball. This isn't to the detriment of the team, though. Instead, he shows an understanding on when it is right moment to hold on to the possession and allow his teammates to push forward into the nearby attacking spaces. He will back into players and sit low as he does this, making it difficult to push them off the ball, should he be drawn into a physical tussle, or perhaps face a defensive overload. Broja does well to force enough contact whereby he can win a foul. He shows a calmness in possession even when heavily surrounded by opposition defenders. His first touch keeps the ball close when surrounded, and his second takes him away from the pressure. As he engages other defenders, he shows a poise in possession and a speed of play which suggests clear understanding of what he wants to do with the ball before he receives it. Broja will alternate in his positioning based on where the ball is at that moment, or the stage of the attack. In deeper build-up play, he is likely to find space in between the lines and the half spaces. And in more developed attacks, he will occupy the centre-backs. However, on quick breaks where there is space behind, he looks to peel away from the centre of the pitch. He drifts wider to isolate himself against one defender as he looks to be played into the space behind the defence. Broja's timing of these runs is often pinpoint as he shows agility to make late adjustments if the through pass is delayed, ensuring that he still remains onside even if he initially at times his run a fraction early. Broja is talented as both a goal scorer and a creator. Firstly, with his work in front of goal as a scorer, there are some clear tendencies that arise. Broja is an outstanding finisher, but he isn't a poacher. Instead, looking to receive a ball on the edge of the area, rather than in and around the 6-yard box. Even as the ball is advanced on either wing into areas where a winger may look to play the ball across goal, Breuer would rather wait just inside the 18-yard box and look to receive a ball back across from this distance. It should also be noted that Breuer's goals come using his right and left foot, but he is also a threat aerially too. Even from further out, Breuer displays excellent accuracy on his heading to direct the ball into the furthest corner. When looking to complete for a header inside the opposition box, Breuer rarely darts away from a marker, rather drifting into slightly deeper areas where a defender senses less of a threat. If picked out in these areas, he is a legitimate goal threat. On top of his scoring ability, he is great at dribbling. Breuer is confident at taking on shots from different angles, but he will also use his dribbling to force a better shooting angle. Breuer disguises his dribbling, often looking to feign shooting on goal before cutting inside. He shows an ability to make adjustments as he dribbles, reacting to any attempted tackles from onrushing defenders. Breuer is unselfish in the final third too, and his assist record does quite fairly paint the picture of his creative ability. He shows an awareness as he drives forward, even in goal-scoring positions, to find nearby teammates who are arriving into the area. He will drive into areas where he can hit the ball across goal or look to cut the ball back to the edge of the area. Breuer can turn a hold-up play into a dribbling opportunity in an instant. He can change direction quickly, rolling the defender, marking him tightly, whilst he possesses a rapid change of pace over short distances. It is these qualities that allow him to receive the ball and still work an attacking opportunity for his own dribbling. He can lead a line from a central position in the pressing phase, but it is just as adept as a part of a pressing unit if he is played in a wider position. When played centrally, he has the work rate and energy to lead the line, even if isolated by himself. Cutting off passes with the angle of his press is a common theme with Breuer. He has a good understanding of when to push forward, though, and times the angled press at the right moment, where the ball carrier has to take further touches than necessary in an attempt to find a different pass option. Breuer's pace means that he can make this moment significantly uncomfortable for the ball carrier. And if a goalkeeper is particularly committed to playing out from the back, Breuer will force errors and turnovers as he continues to press forward. Breuer is persistent when pressing and will continue to press the ball even as the ball carrier moves away. He covers short distances very well and ensures he keeps the previous ball carrier in his cover shadow as he continues to press to ensure the new ball carrier doesn't have an easy way out of the press. With his height and good standing jump, Breuer is firstly an excellent outlet for direct passes forward. He competes well and is a handful for any centre-back, regardless of whether he wins the aerial duel. A large amount of his lost aerial duels will be in situations where he prevented the opposing centre-back from making a clean defensive header. He so often competes and causes the ball to drop into midfield areas. This really sums up his overall competitive spirit. He is combative and competes for every ball. He has a terrific work rate and rushes and hassles for centre-backs all game when they are in possession. He's a sort of relentless player defenders won't enjoy playing against. Breuer has an excellent burst of pace for a big man and is dangerous when he plays on the last man. He has the pace to cause opposition defences issues if they have a high line and look for balls in behind to do exactly this. Whilst he holds the ball up well and brings his teammates into the game should they play with a deeper line, this makes him an already well-rounded prospect at such a young age. At the same time, he is comfortable receiving the ball to feet away from the front line, turning and driving at the opponent. He does this relatively frequently, and he drives forward with pace and progresses the ball well when he does so. Liverpool didn't sign anyone, so on to Luton Town with Daiki Hashioka. The 24-year-old predominantly plays at right back. He's appeared in international competition for Japan at both the Tokyo Olympics and the Qatar Asian Cup. His strengths are heading, 1-versus-1 situations, and he does like to do a lot of running. He has scored twice this season and is determined to score more. Hashioka is a versatile defender who can play anywhere across the back line as well, not just at the right back as I initially stated. Manchester City, Claudio Echeverri. Long before his name-making displays in the Under-17 World Cup, the question was asked, is Claudio Echeverri the next Lionel Messi? While an attacking midfielder, Echeverri is best used as a classic Argentinian number 10, the enganche role, as it's known in his home country, otherwise called the trequartista. Unlike Messi, he's right-footed, but is similarly diminutive in stature at 170 centimetres, and shares that low centre of gravity dribbling style. El Diablito, as he has come to be known at River, has caught the eye with his exceptional technical ability, vision, and ability to progress the ball in the final third. He's adept at winning duels with his acceleration and combines well with the wingers and number 9. He's talented with excellent close control and dribbling skills, owing to an exceptional first touch. He is a first-rate presser of the ball and he can score too. El Diablito has no roof because he is old enough not to have one. To be fair, I just love that nickname. Manchester United didn't sign anyone, and neither did Newcastle United, so on to Nottingham Forest. I've gone with Matt Sells. Sells is a goalkeeper who stands tall at an imposing 6'1". He will provide competition for Matt Turner. While he may have played in plenty of different positions during his youth or amateur career, he has been primarily known as a goalkeeper in his senior professional career. Having played for various clubs in Belgium, including Lierse SK, KAA Ghent and RSC Anderlecht, as well as abroad and with clubs like Newcastle United in England, Sells has definitely earned his stripes as a goalkeeper. When he was actually at Newcastle, he made 14 appearances, keeping 5 clean sheets. On to another goalkeeper with Sheffield United, I've gone with Ivo Grbic. He has appeared internationally for Croatia and also in the Champions League, and he made 14 appearances with Atletico Madrid. He's also appeared in the Croatian Cup final twice, and last season he made 21 appearances in the League On, playing a key part in the Lille squad. Tottenham Hotspur, Radu Dragusin. Dragusin is a right-footed centre-back with experience of playing in the back 4 and back 3. He likes to defend on the front foot and looks to aggressively intercept, pinch, or steal the ball as it is worked into his direct opponent. To do this, he accelerates well in reaction to opposition passes, slowing down as he arrives. This prevents clumsy contact from opponents that can lead to fouls and yellow cards. His aggression is controlled but assertive, leading to regular interceptions and successful duels. He prefers to directly engage. Another key trait of his defensive style is recovering back and defending the penalty area. He's also adept at making last-ditch or emergency challenges to stop attempts on goal. This can occur when he has committed forward to duel or pinch the ball, but the next phase of players progress the ball beyond this new defensive position. In these moments, he narrows his recovery wonders well, often ending in areas that have attacking potential for the opposition. Dragusin will also look to bump his direct opponent when recovering back, working shoulder to shoulder. With his impressive upper body strength, he can physically compete with and disrupt a forward-running attack. This is also the case when he competes for loose balls, or an attacker is attempted to knock the ball and run beyond him. When tracking runners, covering the spaces inside, or those behind his fullback stroke wingback, Dragusin will look to physically impose himself. But his aggression is usually an asset when defending inside the penalty area, with blocks, duels, and clearances. He fully commits to challenges, putting his body on the line to protect the ball, the goal, and limit goal-scoring opportunities. With clearances, he can play balls into good areas for teammates to counter-press and regain, or he will clear his line with height and distance, including heading the ball away. His ability to duel aerially inside the box is impressive, using a powerful leap to clear the danger. In possession, Dragusin is comfortable driving out from the back, progressing into midfield. He makes use of his upper body strength to hold off opponents, rather than progressing with skill or speed. He is comfortable receiving under pressure, and many of his appearances in Serie A came in mid and low block defensive displays. In Serie B, however, Dragusin was regularly able to receive and contribute towards a short build-up. His longer passes are drilled and tends to focus on spaces behind the opposition's back line. These are ideal for teammates who can operate on the last line. At Genoa, Dragusin often played with three central midfielders ahead of a central defensive role. In a back four, as part of a 4-2-3-1 or a narrow 4-3-2-1 in Serie B, he played mostly on the left side of a central defensive pairing. The selection of Genoa's left back was less consistent, with various players filling in across the promotion winning campaign. That Dragusin had to remain flexible and versatile, with regular changes to whoever supported and covered the wide left areas. Dragusin was often the defender who pushed out of the back line into the midfield. Just ahead, the central midfield trio was often a double pivot and a number 10, with them battling for second balls around Dragusin. In the areas between the lines, Dragusin was often ready to intercept and connect into the double pivots or attackers. At times during 2022-23, and certainly in the first half of the following Serie A season, Genoa played three centre-backs in the back five formations. For most of the part, the three central midfielders remained ahead of this central defence, with Dragusin often the middle centre-back, as well as occasionally playing on the right side. This flexibility helped him improve his defensive game, particularly in 1v1s, while he maintained his aggressive jumping into midfield. Following promotion, Genoa deployed a low block more often, with Dragusin defending just off the edge of the penalty area for long spells. When used as the middle centre-back, his aggressive positioning and defensive style supported a single pivot, with two number 8s ahead, responsible for pressing back as the double pivots had previously done. When operating in a wider role in the back three, Dragusin could still jump forward to engage. He also had to provide more cover and work back more towards his own goal, not just because of his low block, but also to support, cover, and protect against balls bent around or inside his wingback. These moments tested Dragusin the most, especially if an attacker manipulated their body shape to receive around him. He then sometimes made unnecessary challenges as opponents who shielded and protected the ball, awaiting contact. West Ham United, Calvin Phillips. After starting his career as a box-to-box or central midfielder, Phillips was converted into a defensive midfielder by Marcelo Bielsa before the start of the 2018-19 season. He's known for his range of short, sharp passing, long ball distribution, and ability to start attacks whilst covering his defensive duties, with him being described as a linchpin. Marcelo Bielsa actually described his style with saying he's very good at getting the ball and putting it into another space, a better space. He's very good when he has to cover the team when their fullbacks go into attack. And when they were outnumbered, he was very good with his defending. Phillips was also converted into playing as a centre-back under Bielsa. For his similar style of play, Phillips was given the name the Yorkshire Pirlo by the Leeds fans in homage to Andrea Pirlo. Pirlo himself labelled Phillips as a bit of a regista, a role for which Andre was highly regarded himself. Following his performance for England against Croatia at Euro 2020, he was described as brilliant at finding little pockets of space that could turn simple passing move into a dangerous attack. Finally, but of course not least as always, Wolverhampton Wanderers with Noha Lemina. Grown as an attacking midfielder, Lemina soon proved to be a versatile forward, also playing as a number 10, as a winger, or even as a central midfielder. Noah is an exciting, quick, and direct winger with a strong technical ability shaped by his extensive training at PSG. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you're new around here, please do consider subscribing. That would be hugely appreciated. But I will be back with doing a championship one of these in the near future. But goodbye for now.